Before I start this video, I just want to clarify that this series is not a guide in collecting plushies. Moreover, this series serves as a subjective look into merchandise for the sake of entertainment. Not sure if I had to clarify this, but I thought it wouldn't hurt to include. Enjoy! How do I start this? This was not a video I was planning to make. I know my last PvZ video series was in 3 parts, but that's because PvZ2 is a really long game. However, a shocking amount of people were expecting a part 2 to my PvZ Plushies video, even though part 1 wasn't anywhere in the title. And that's a surprise because I wasn't expecting this video to do as well as it is. Even my Parappa and Monster School videos are doing better than I expected, which I really have to thank you all for. I'm glad that no matter what the subject, there will still be an audience for my content, even when people go in without any expectations. Ironically, I'm not sure what to expect out of this video either. There's a simple reason why I didn't intend on making a part 2 that I'll get to later, but after doing a bit of research, I found more to say than I thought. So, as usual, expect surprises. This is the best and worst PvZ plushies, zombies, and more. Let's get into it. Much like how the pea shooter is the face of the plants in Plants vs. Zombies, the basic zombie shares that spotlight for the zombies. How does that translate to plushies? Well, it means that the basic zombie has the most plush variants. Not only that, but all of them are radically different. Oh, and before I continue, I got a lot of comments about the pronunciation of these Chinese manufacturers. But because myself and some of those who corrected me were unsure of which pronunciation was correct, I'm just gonna stick to my own pronunciation for the sake of consistency. Sorry in advance, I hope you can understand. Anyways, the lean scene zombie is the lowest in quality, rocking clothes made of cheap fabric that are inaccurate in design and color. Taking second place is this Jazzwares design, which is leagues more accurate in its clothing, but not as much in its face. First place goes to WorldMax, whose design is so accurate that I can forgive its lack of wrinkles and hair. There's also the second design, which is a step below but still above Jazzwares. In the end, this is the definitive zombie plush. Bold of you to assume we reached the logical conclusion. Yes, this is the best zombie plush, and each manufacturer's zombies plushies are consistent with their own designs. But WorldMax and Jazzwares only have a handful of zombie plushies. And if we want a full collection that's consistent, then WorldMax/Jazzwares plushies are gonna look so out of place. How out of place, you may be wondering? Well, guess which manufacturer made the most zombie plushies? This is gonna be a rough collection. Like the basic zombie, Conehead Zombie has a good amount of plush variants from our familiar manufacturers. The lean scene variant is the weakest, followed by WorldMax, and ending on Jazzwares. The rip and tear aspect of Jazzwares' plush makes it the most unique, and probably the most enjoyable to mess around with. But, in the context of our collection, the lean scene plush is going to be our go-to. Outside of the clothing, I don't think this design is that bad. They gave Conehead a Jack-in-the-Box zombie expression, but I kinda like how much that distinguishes one plush from the other. Hey, could have been worse. Considering how pole vaulting zombie is the only day zombie not featured in Plants vs. Zombies 2, he has a surprising amount of plush representation. He's the only other zombie from PvZ1 featured in the Sega Prize Europe set, along with having a WorldMax and Lean Scene 2 variant. The lack of a pole in the Lean Scene variant is a bit of a letdown, but I'd rather him not have a pole than have a cheap one stitched onto his body like another plush. Buckethead Zombie is a bit of an unfortunate case. Naturally, there's a WorldMax plush of Buckethead Zombie that looks as great as ever, along with a plush from Mayo Culture which looks pretty good as well. There's even a new manufacturer that rivals WorldMax in terms of quality, Sakami Merchandise. Their Buckethead plush is fantastic, and I would love to see more from them. However, there's no PvZ1 Buckethead plush from Lean Scene. There is a Mummy Buckethead Zombie plush from PvZ2, but it looks awful, and I'm so glad that they made a second variant of it. Wish that was done for another plush. Still, these zombies are from PvZ1. If you prefer consistency, then I just stitch a bucket on a Lean Scene zombie plush. I can't imagine it being that hard. No, not that flag zombie. There only exists a plush of Beach Flag Zombie, the flag zombie variant of Big Wave Beach. And while it isn't from PvZ1, I'd argue that this plush would fit in our collection just fine. There's already zombies themed around water in PvZ1, and a zombie dressed for the beach is a lot more fitting for the pool than an Egyptian mummy zombie with a bucket on its head. Unlike all the previous zombies, Newspaper Zombie only has one plush variant of it, meaning that what we get is what we get. Naturally, this variant belongs to Lean Scene, and despite being as inaccurate as the other Lean Scene zombies, it's still Newspaper Zombie. Would you believe me if I told you that Screen Door Zombie had a plush of it? Well, it appears that it does. At least, that's what I had no choice but to believe. I'm gonna go off topic for a moment, but it'll tie back to this plush if you hear me through. At the start of the video, I brought up that there's a simple reason why I didn't intend on making a part 2 that I'll get to later. Well, the reason was that there were a lot of zombies that didn't have any plushies made of them. And considering how little zombies there are compared to plants, I didn't want to make content out of nothing. Although, when doing research for this video, I found that a lot of zombies who didn't have plushies before have them now. I decided to do some more research, to which I found that a lot of these new plushies are from Latin America. In fact, those really good looking melon pole plushies from my last video may be Latin American plushies as well. However, because of how little is documented about these plushies online, I would not recommend buying these without doing your own research first. At the very least, I managed to find a second image of the Screen Door Zombie plush to prove its existence. I'm not sure if that should completely justify adding it to our hypothetical collection, but if it does, then it fits pretty nicely with the other Lean Scene plushies. Let's see what the next zombie brings us. Football Zombie has an interesting selection of plushies to choose from. However, this plush has to be too good to be true. Accurate clothing, a face that matches the other Lean Scene plushies, and a detachable head? Assuming this plush is real and obtainable, then this is the best plush of Football Zombie. The second best would be this plush, which appears to be another Latin American import. This plush was actually on eBay, but the seller has taken down all of their items for some reason. There's also these Sega Prize Europe and Royal Puspita plushies, but they're a bit too different for our collection. Believe it or not, the best dancing zombie plush for our collection goes to Pee Pee Girl, a company known for associating with Lean Scene and borrowing their plush designs. However, that bears the question, what did Lean Scene do with Dancing Zombie? Well, they made this. For the longest time, I confused this plush for being a zombie from PvZ2 China, specifically Bassist Zombie, due to this plush's inclusion of a string instrument. But after some research, I realized that this plush probably takes after Dancing Zombie's old design, which is inspired by Michael Jackson's outfit in Thriller. The violin is still really random though.
I'm homicidal and I wanna kill Dave and then eat all of the scrumptious brains. Whoa. Jumper can bite and swallow and eat. Even Penny is a time machine. Whoa.
Backup Dancer Zombie is the first zombie thus far to not have a plush of it. And there's not a lot I can say about that. The old design was better. Starting off the pool is Ducky Tube Zombie, who only has one plush variant. Thankfully, this variant comes from Lean Scene, much like the rest of our collection. And it's definitely a basic zombie in a ducky tube. What more do you want? Ducky Tube and Ambush variants for Conehead, Buckethead, and Flag Zombie? Alright man, that's asking for a lot. Just like Screen Door and Football Zombie, the one and only Snorkel Zombie plush is a Latin American import. And for what it's worth, it's a good looking plush. I can't say how easy this plush is to find. Listings for it on eBay have been taken down. But if it's obtainable, then that's a Snorkel Zombie plush for our collection. Although not a plush with the Zomboni itself, there is a plush of the Zomboni driver. At least, that's what I thought it was. In reality, this plush is based on a fan-made zombie for a fan-made PvZ2 world. I'm dead serious, the DeviantArt post is still up as of recording this. I don't know why they do this, this isn't the first time it's happened either. This might also explain why this is the only Lean Scene zombie with the closest color accuracy. I guess it could have been worse. They could have based it on this. It exists. A bit plain though. They could have at least stitched the brain logo. Oh well, at least they included the dolphin. I know it's in the name, but I'm genuinely surprised they added one in. I know we've had our fun and games in this series. Chomper, Doomshroom, Coffee Bean, you get the idea. But don't spend your money on this. Pinja, you had 3 fucking chances to get this right. You serious? Another Latin American import, with no Lean alternative. It's a good looking plush all things considered, but its legitimacy is a bit foggy. Haha, get it? Foggy? Don't patronize me. Unfortunately for Digger Zombie, not even Latin America could depict him in plush form, making him the second zombie to not have a plush variant so far. Also, fun fact, out of all the zombies from PvZ1, Digger Zombie was the one that they brought back exclusively for PvZ2 China. Considering that Prospector Zombie is just a better Digger Zombie, you'd think they'd bring back Bungie or something. At least you can make use of Bungie in horribly designed levels. I guess I just forgot what Pogo Zombie looked like, because for the longest time, I thought this was supposed to be Pogo Zombie. But like Ice Skating Zombie, I guess this is its own character. Harry Zombie. Or Ed if you're based. Why did Dancing Zombie get 2 designs of which neither look like Dancing Zombie? But Harry Zombie gets 3. You might as well make his ass your mascots. Better than the bear clip art. No, I wouldn't forget Yeti Zombie. And it seems like every other manufacturer wouldn't either because he's got a surprising amount of representation. The best Yeti Zombie plush is this one from WorldMax, which is seemingly as elusive as the Yeti Zombie itself. This plush made by Think Geek, a retailer / manufacturer well known for their merch catered to geek culture, is pretty nice as well. I'd argue that the Yeti Zombie is so one of a kind that any plush variant would fit into our collection. However, if we're sticking with all reliable, the Lean Scene does the job as best it could. Bungie Zombie's not gonna have a plush, are you kidding? They couldn't even make a plush of a zombie holding a red flag. It is kinda weird that despite how iconic Bungie Zombie is, he isn't that well represented in the PvZ series. I guess PvZ2 has enough zombies that can take out your plants without stealing them. Well, I guess that leaves PvZ2 China. Looks like Ladder Zombie doesn't have a plush either. It's only now that I'm realizing how creative the zombies from PvZ1 were. I don't think we've had a zombie that directly works around defensive plants like Ladder Zombie does. And if we have, then I'm sure everyone in the comments will remind me about him. What a surprise, Catapult Zombie doesn't have a plush of it either. I guess on the topic of Catapult, how do we feel about its PvZ2 redesign? Listen, I'm not saying PvZ1 Catapult Zombie is a masterclass of design. This is. But this is not that guy, pal, trust me. He is not that guy.
Okay.
I suppose it could be worse. It could be Troglodyte number 82.
There's lots of other characters if you don't like the Pixie Sorcerer.
No, there aren't. They're all just the same with different costumes.
I know the last few entries have been a bit rough, but I don't think this video would have been this video if Gargantuar didn't have a plush. Thankfully, we're in luck. I'm not sure where this plush originates from, but it's my personal favorite. I can see how the detachable pieces could be a bit of a hindrance, but I think they could be more fun to mess around with. It's also got a more accurate color scheme, and bonus, includes the telephone pole. You know, the thing that he crushes plants with? The Lean Scene one is fine, but the color scheme is barely accurate. And the clothing material is super cheap. You know how workout clothes are really thin and stretchy? Well, that's what this plush reminds me of. He looks like he just got back from the gym or something. At least they included the imp, for better or for worse. Speaking of... Jesus fucking Christ, just get the Jazzwares one. Ah, here we are. Dr. Edgar George Zomboss. Like with Yeti Zombie, Dr. Zomboss' design is so different from the other zombies that we don't have to find one that matches the Lean Scene style. And even if we had to, we'd be out of luck because Lean Scene hasn't made a plush of PvZ1 Dr. Zomboss. Jazzwares saves the day with their good as ever plush designs. But if for whatever reason you preferred a plush of Punk Dr. Zomboss, the Lean Scene's got you covered. A goofy end to a goofier collection of plushies. Oh, and just to be a completionist about things, guys, it's just a Gargantuar with red eyes. You guys really think a manufacturer would make an entirely separate plush that's just a recolor of an existing one?
Touché.
Yeah, so this plush exists. I've seen people theorize on what this plush could be for the longest time, and I'm here to put those theories to rest. This is just a hypnotized zombie from the first game. You know, in hindsight, those theories are probably a lot more interesting than the truth. I'm not sure how much hypnotized zombies count towards a complete collection. Probably about as much as Target Zombie. But there you go. And with that, I think that's everything. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. And more! It's at this point in the PvZ Plush cinematic universe where manufacturers either slow down on producing plushies or stop producing plushies entirely. As a result, there's not much competition on who can make the better plush because there's typically only one plush variant of each character. So, as a bonus, I'll give my 2 cents on the remaining plants that have plushies of them, lightning round style. Let's go! The boomerang plushies are cute, but this is the best one quality-wise. Don't know why bald is an option. Actually, a really good plush. The plant base isn't necessary, but it's still pretty cute. So long as the leaves aren't attached to his body, it's a good plush. Come on, man, let me pose him. It's Chomper or Doom Shroom. Never seen anyone get this design right, but for the first time thus far, I can understand the difficulty. Pretty nice. I wouldn't even consider picking the second design. Simple design, simple plush. Just make sure his wheels touch the ground so that he's not sitting on his ass. Too light and too opaque. Come on, Pingjia, what are you doing? Same manufacturer as Lilypad and that really good Doom Shroom I forgot to go over in part 1. Not my favorite plush, but I can recognize its worth. The return of the dirt base. They're fine. I always hated Laserbeam's design for being so basic, but at least that makes it easier to translate. Good job, Linsin. The quality varies hard. Wrong peach. If I don't mention the plant, it doesn't have a plush as of this video's release. This entry and EM Peach are the only exceptions. Another Latin American import. I love this plush, but I have no idea how rare or how real it is. A great plush that seems too good to be true. This plush is a crock of shit. The color of the stitchings do not do this plush justice, but it's still fat beat. In the complete opposite fashion, the color of the stitchings do this plush justice. What the hell, Linsin? And that's all the plant plushies from PvZ 2. And with that, I think that's everything. There's still the zombies, but they're pretty low quality. And most of them are either from PvZ 2 China or based on fan art. If you couldn't tell, the amount of new plushies from PvZ 2 starts to decline rapidly after Wild West, which at the time of the game's release was the final world before more would have been added. And that's sort of telling of PvZ 2's popularity in comparison with the first game. PvZ 2 peaked in the beginning, and rode that popularity into the sunset. But as Plants vs. Zombies started to decline, so did the plush scene. Nowadays, PvZ merch comes by pretty rarely, and I think that's how it's going to stay for a long time. I doubt PvZ 3 will be the great comeback of Plants vs. Zombies in the manufacturing world, but at least I can say that I experienced these empires at their peak. And I'm glad this video allowed me to look back on those memories fondly. After all, a little good can come out of anything. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.